Lincoln 103, 5 Lincoln 102, Lincoln 103 and 102.
Responding to 401 parking structure, section 1 boy.
Henry 8, Henry 9. Respond to gate 437, Bravo, for your dignitary detail. 3K 911, unattended, 400 lower level, near Carousel 4, black bag. GTA in progress, 401 parking structure, section 4 boy.
Responding to 401 parking structure, section 1 boy.
415 passenger onboard aircraft.
Control 2 Franklin en route.
484 suspect, is female, Hispanic, 28 years of age, blue jeans, no further.
Control 5 Frank 401 is en route.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to this edition of the LP Zone, Loss Prevention and Retail Security, where we talk about everything related to shopping center security, big box security, boutique, loss prevention, and, of course, organized retail crimes. I'm your host, Rick McCann, the founder and CEO of Private Officer International and Armor College. This is a production of Private Officer International, a private security and law enforcement organization. Check us out online at privateofficer.com. In today's edition, we're going to be talking about something that is not new to those of us who have worked in retail security for many generations, many years. And in fact, in maybe the last 2 or 3 years, we have seen this particular aspect of retail theft really have a resurgence, and now we're finding out that this is really a bigger problem than we can even imagine. In fact, it's a problem that some say retailers themselves have caused. In today's edition, we are talking about gift cards and how they are fueling the opioid and drug world. Whether or not you're 20 or 40 or 60 and believe in the philosophy that everything has its day and a lot of things repeat itself, I can tell you from my many years of being in the industry that as a young loss prevention floor walker, way back in the early 70s, seems like 100 years ago, we had those who would come in and steal and then leave the store and come right back within sometimes 15 to 20 minutes and refund the same merchandise that they had shoplifted. Over and over and over again, we would see the same crews, the same person making the rounds throughout our area stores, grabbing merchandise from the shelf and simply walking up to the refund desk, up to the service desk without never even leaving the store. In some cases, they would just bring it up from the shelf as if they brought it in. We have even seen those who would come in, grab merchandise, bring it up to the service desk for a refund, and even produce a receipt that either they found out in the parking lot or got from a friend or relative that had purchased a similar item. We called them refunders, snatch and grab refunders. And for many, many, many moons, retailers, big and small, would refund the total price of the merchandise because they didn't want to offend their customer. They didn't want people to believe that the retailer was thinking, oh, maybe this was stolen. They don't have a receipt. No, They wanted to satisfy and make the customers happy. And those of us who have been around in this business, in the retail loss prevention business, for any time at all, we can tell you that this has been a constant problem for many years. They would give cash back time and time again. We're not talking $5 or $10. In many cases, professional refunders would grab a big ticket item, $100, $200. I remember the team that I caught in J.C. grabbing expensive vacuum cleaners, and they would go around. They'd steal it from one store, refund it to another store, steal a couple more, and just do the same cycle almost daily. That was their work schedule. That was how they made an income. That was their weekly paycheck. And it was a very serious, ongoing issue that many retailers, big and small, and I can call them out, J.C. Walmart, Target, up north, Bradley's, which is no longer in business, Caldor's, no longer in business, Macy's, a number of other stores that would refund merchandise left and right, no questions asked. You know what I'm talking about, you seasoned LP agents. You've seen it. And you would tell the store GM and the regional managers, hey, these guys are shoplifting. I suspect I just never caught them in the act. I know they came in with nothing. But unless you saw them steal it, you could not stop them. So fast forward about 30 years, and the problem still exists today. And many of you in loss prevention and retail security and mall security have dealt with these offenders over and over again. And the crime has had a resurgence, even though many retailers no longer issue cash but have gone to the gift card system. Well, guess what? Out on the streets, the gift cards spend just like cash. Just like in prison, if you have food, it used to be if you had cigarettes, but now most institutions have gone to non-smoking, so you can't trade cigarettes as money, because back then they would buy cartons and cartons of cigarettes and use them as cash. Well, now, on the streets, people are taking all of these gift cards that they're getting from refunding stolen merchandise and using them as cash, and you won't believe what they're trading these gift cards in for. Drugs. We know it's organized crime. We know there's a lot of different methods of stealing and being organized in your theft processes, but now these organized criminals are trading gift cards for dope. Just like with the merchandise that was often traded and sold on the street for 25 to 50% of the real value, the same is happening with the gift card. Many drug addicted people are now taking gift cards to the street and refunding them for dope. I want you to take a listen of this recent investigation piece that we ran into in the last few days. But it's not the first of its kind, because we have worked with law enforcement. We've worked with the Retail Federation. We've worked with organized crime units who search after and investigate ORC. And we've seen the gift cards being used as cash, as currency on the street. And now, in the last couple of years, it's being used as currency for drugs. So give a listen to this recent piece, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about how retailers are now starting to wake up, and some are beginning to look at it as a real problem.
Inside some of the country's biggest retailers, there's a shadowy world of commerce, crime, and drugs. And at the center, gift cards.
Are gift cards currency you can use to pay for drugs?
Yes, most definitely.
Just saying.
By all appearances, these four women could be tidying up what looks like a college dorm room. But this is no university. It's rehab.
That worthlessness, that guilt and shame that I feel every day that I chose drugs over my son. Every day. There's no way to describe that to you. No way.
And these women aren't students, they're patients, struggling with crippling addiction.
I've definitely stolen. I have, took advantage of people.
They sat down with us at a drug treatment facility in Jacksonville, Florida. 23-year-old Kristen Booth's drugs of choice, oxycodone and heroin. She's been arrested twice for gift card fraud.
I would go and take things off the shelf. I would make sure I left the store, so on camera it looked like I purchased the items, and then come back, go to customer service.
And some of the biggest national retailers are some of the biggest targets because of relaxed return policies.
I would go to Home Depot, Lowe's, Walmart, stuff like that, and take stuff. Leave, go to another Home Depot, take it back to get a gift card.
Sometimes drug dealers directly accept the cards as payment.
Say if there's 50 on the gift card, your dealer will only want to do like 25. And 9 times out of 10, they're not going to give you cash. They're just going to give you product.
Mm-hmm. Which is what we want to do.
Right.
It's ultimately what our goal is anyways.
Right.
But more often, the cards get sold to third parties. Corner stores, pawn shops, and specialty retailers make it easy to get cash. And online exchanges like Raise and Cardpool buy and sell thousands of dollars worth of cards at a time.
There's a ton of people who are going to want $50 worth of Victoria's Secret stuff for $25.
Joshua Lopez is in recovery and now works at a treatment center in Tampa. He and his coworkers say the gift card for cash scheme is common knowledge among users.
As an addict doing this, you learn this stuff. I don't remember exactly how I learned it. I just learned it.
The National Retail Federation found 57% of companies reported fraudulent gift cards or store credit in at least one location. That's down from 2/3 in previous years. Home Depot has been a preferred target for addicts. The company told us, of course it impacts our bottom line, but it's also about the safety of the community, drug trafficking, even terrorism.
It's been our experience that they're going to commit these crimes when they're desperate and they're needing their next fix.
We ride along with Lieutenant David Ballard, who's on a Shelby County Sheriff's task force devoted to retail theft in the Memphis area.
We'll go out here and follow someone committing these thefts, and they'll go to one store, and then they'll go right next door to the next door.
The CDC ranks Tennessee the third highest in per capita opiate prescriptions. Shoplifting, return fraud, and gift card abuse have skyrocketed in the state. And nationally, every law enforcement agency we reached out to and every drug addict we talked to confirms the connection between opioids and gift cards. Deputies arrive at JCPenney to arrest an employee for embezzlement involving gift cards. Suddenly, they spot a theft in progress at the store and give chase through the mall parking lot. The suspect's cornered and arrested for shoplifting. Investigators find a slew of gift cards on her front seat.
This is a vanilla card. Those are pretty popular. Got an Aldo.
Would you mind just explaining to me about the gift cards? Would you tell me what you were doing with the gift cards?
Neither suspect wanted to talk, and investigators have not linked their alleged crimes to drugs.
Within an hour, we had 2 incidents at the same store. One while we were sitting there effecting an arrest, and now the incident takes place.
Just a normal Tuesday.
Normal Tuesday.
There's no national database tracking the sale and purchase of gift cards, but a few states are aggressively trying to change that because of the opioid crisis. A national retail report shows Tennessee loses more than $14 million a year in state sales tax that gets refunded to thieves who never paid it in the first place. Tennessee State Senator Richard Briggs is also a medical doctor. He points out an astonishing connection to that fraud. In one Tennessee county alone, in 1 month, police linked 16 of 19 overdoses to the sale of gift cards. In the city of Knoxville, over 3 months, it was 83 of 98 overdoses with ties to gift cards.
What was your reaction when you saw that correlation?
Absolute shock. It would be no different than if there was a rock lying there and you lifted it up and this horrible smell came out and this monster came out. We had no idea that the organized retail theft was related so intimately with the opiate and drug trade in general in Appalachia.
Briggs got legislation passed that sets up a database to report gift card sales, but it's not enforced. So he's going back next year to try and strengthen the law.
And I don't think this is the sole problem to solving the financing of the opiate problem in Tennessee, but it's one part of the problem. And right now, it's a very big part of the problem.
Part of the solution may be software that tracks the gift cards. Retail Theft Analysis CEO Matt Ryan says his company's technology is already in use in Tennessee and Florida.
These are actual cards, and this person is an actual individual. He has actually sold $349,000 worth of cards. This data tells me that this is somebody that they should look at pretty closely. The other thing I would look at is what store he's selling it to, because this type of store is obviously not really examining who they're buying cards from.
This store in Tampa is well known as a place to get cash for cards. When we showed up unannounced, the manager on duty was happy to show us around.
We accept over 2,000 brands of gift cards.
On the wall, they proudly display cards they've collected, including in-store merchandise cards, those given for a returned item. The manager insists the store has a stringent security protocol requiring ID, a criminal background check, and even a fingerprint.
We have to be careful because you never know.
We later learned, however, that police have been investigating the business over the past year in connection with gift card purchases. The manager says they are cooperating and have done nothing wrong. Online exchanges Raise and Cardpool say they vet sellers thoroughly and use anti-fraud technology. National retail chains are also grappling with the problem of return fraud and gift card abuse. Target tells us part of our goal is to reduce the number of fraudulent returns, so we limit the value of returns without a receipt. Walmart explains it has procedures to closely monitor merchandise returns where no receipt is provided. And Lowe's says it takes retail return fraud very seriously and will hold perpetrators accountable for their illegal conduct. And Home Depot has recently cracked down with a change in return policy. The company tells us it only accepts store credits for its in-store purchases, and we require proof of ID when store credits are redeemed at checkout because of the increase in return fraud. As far as gift cards, Home Depot says it won't allow customers to buy them with store credit, again, due to potential fraud. In the end, making it more difficult for addicts to turn cards into cash may be only a temporary obstacle to the next fix.
When you're suffering from addiction, any length means any length. And you don't care how many charges you have, you don't care what you've been through, you just care about the next one. And, one is never enough and 1,000 too many.
No matter the cost, homes, jobs, friends, and family.
I've always told myself I'd be a wonderful mom. I'd do anything for my little girl, and it's crazy to look back and see all the times that I just didn't care.
From coast to coast, cops are cracking down on seatbelt violations. Buckle up day and night or expect a ticket. It doesn't matter who you are or where you live, they'll be on the lookout. Cops write tickets to save lives.
So now some retailers, again, after seeing all of the internal theft, all of the evidence that gift cards are they're not being used for what they're supposed to be used for, now the retailers are coming around a little bit to their senses and saying, uh-oh, maybe this isn't really such a good idea. And as with everything in life, one bad apple ruins the bunch. So it's not the biggest percentage. It's not everybody stealing merchandise. Everyone who returns merchandise without a receipt is not a thief. I've done it myself. My family has done it. I've got a friend of mine who is a shopping queen. She loves to shop. There's no two ways about it. She is always shopping. Does she save every receipt? No. Does she always return things? Yes. Is she a thief? Hell no. But when you have a high percentage of people who are doing something illegal or wrong, everyone suffers for that. So now some retailers are looking at this situation again, saying, well, we know we are looking at doing something different. We know that we are losing millions, probably billions of dollars across the retail spectrum in this type of theft. But how do we really enforce the rules and prevent this without hurting other customers? So some are still on the fence line, while others, like Home Depot, as you just heard in that audio piece, is beginning to look at, well, maybe we should not offer gift cards. We'll offer in-store credit only. You see, back in my day when I was in the retail business and I was in LP and I, district manager as well as store level through the years, told I don't know how many GMs that giving cash back or giving gift cards were the same thing. Stores did at some point only issue store credit. But because of the pushback, because of the complaints from the honest customers who wanted to get a gift card, especially if you were given a gift for Christmas, your birthday, wedding, or some other legitimate reason, and you took back the merchandise that you were given, you wouldn't necessarily want to always buy or replace that item right then and there, and maybe, you want to take a gift card instead. Now stores are again insisting, in some cases, like you just heard about Home Depot, that you only take in-store credit. Well, whether you're given an in-store credit slip or a gift card, you still have to use it at the same retailer, whether it be at the same location or any of their locations. So if you get an in-store credit for Home Depot, you can probably use it at Home Depot in any state. If you get a Walmart gift card, you still have to use it at a Walmart someplace. Now, here's the problem with the in-store credit. I know that the piece that we just listened to said that the retailers are checking IDs at the register. Believe you me. That's what my grandpa used to say. Believe me when I tell you that few cashiers are going to pay any attention or any close attention to checking those IDs. They're not cops. They're not loss prevention. They're not mall cops. They're not there to check IDs at the club. So they're going to give it a quick once-over, and they're going to pass it on through and scan the product, and you'll be out the door. So what's going to stop that individual from trading those store credits just like they did with the gift cards? unless it's really highly enforced, routinely enforced every single time, again, they're going to have a similar problem on their hands. And only a couple of retailers have decided to again issue that in-store credit. Most are still issuing cash back on all refunds or the gift cards. It's a scam that has been going on for years and years. The Retail Federation, numerous retail loss prevention associations, professionals have talked about this in their seminars and their training and their business meetings for years. But it continues to be a problem as stores don't want to be the bad guy. Who can blame them? They don't want to, anger their good customers. I was always told by GMs and regional managers and even VPs that, it was a small percentage of people who did this. And overall, the stores are making money. They're profitable. The loss is part of what they expect every year, and it's written into their yearly budget plans or whatever, and it is what it is, so to speak. But now that we're seeing that this really has turned into a bigger issue, just 2 years ago I was teaching and even did several radio shows about how organized retail crime is associated with the mob, with the Mexican mob. That's right. Many organized retail criminals are stealing to fuel gang wars, buy guns, trade it for drugs and other things, and was connected by both the DEA, Homeland Security, to the mob. We're not talking about some small mom-and-pop operation. We're not talking about a young girl stealing $20 of makeup or even a middle-aged woman stealing $200 worth of clothes. We're talking about people whose business it is to steal every single day. Take a listen to this out of Nashville, and again, it just reiterates what we're talking about. If you're a law enforcement officer or a security officer that conducts any type of traffic stops or engages in field investigations or checking on suspicious vehicles and persons, you may come across and run up on somebody who may have a bunch of gift cards. While you might think that's nice, maybe it was their birthday or Christmas or some other holiday, the fact is it's more than likely that they are involved in organized retail crime, that they're involved in stealing and refunding merchandise and getting those gift cards at the stores. It is really imperative that you investigate that you take it a step further. Start looking into who they are, identifying them, get their information, check with your local PD and see if they have any warrants on them, if they're known to that agency. Like I said, some stores work very well with law enforcement. In fact, some law enforcement agencies have now retail crime units and are often working with loss prevention agents in their community stores. And so if you have one of those units working in your area, Be sure that if you run across somebody who's got a pocket full of these gift cards, especially from numerous stores, even now, even around the Christmas time, even around the first of the year when everyone's bringing that stuff back to the store, and some will get gift cards, be suspicious of it and check them out. Get their information. Contact your local police department. Contact your local ORC unit in your community if you have one. Also, every state has, or most states, many states, have a retail association. Call them up. Be on a one-on-one basis with them. Have a contact person. Maybe they have insight as to what gang is working in your area. What person is well known to retailers who are stealing off the shelf and then refunding for gift cards. Gift cards is more than just a petty crime. We're talking about felonies, especially where they are trading gift cards for drugs. As time progresses and as technology becomes more and more used to fight every type of crime known to man, including retail thefts. I mean, we have all kind of gadgets in our stores, little gizmos, radio frequencies, the metal detectors, surveillance, so on and so forth, even things that, we really can't tell the public about. But as technology continues to increase in the fight against retail theft, we're going to see these folks come up with other schemes and scams, other ways to steal merchandise, other ways to steal cash, to be able to get around our detection devices, to get around surveillance, to get around the technology that's in place to try to stop them. We have to up our game both in the training department as well as our investigative. All of us need to have good investigative skills. Unfortunately, sometimes in the retail environment, loss prevention agents just don't put the time and effort into the investigative part of the job. You heard in the piece in the beginning of the program that's one of the things that law enforcement is very upset about, is that many retailers are not putting in the time to investigate or to assist them in their investigations with tracking down these people and putting a stop to the retail theft and the refunding and the scams that are being run daily in all of our, not only big retailers, not only our big box in our malls, but also our boutiques. Look at, some of the stores that are in the malls that are being hit heavy for large quantities of merchandise. We all need to work together. We all need to be on our toes, and we all need to cooperate with each other and with law enforcement. That's going to do it for this edition of the Loss Prevention Zone. We're glad that you've been listening, and we hope that you'll join us for the next program. Until then, definitely be safe and be blessed, and we'll see you back here on the radio.